Your son tells me that's the reason why you weren't hearing from him. You weren't talking to him at the end. He keeps saying, I'm sorry. Please tell him sorry. He says, and Matt, he goes, I've been waiting so long to tell my mom this. Angie, how are you?
I'm good.
Where are you from?
I'm in Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I'm so glad that you're here. And right away, there's a couple souls that are lined up that are here. But first of all, your dad passed.
Yes.
So know that he's stepping forward on the other side. And also when I'm connecting, there's a child that's here as well. Where was the child that passed? Because he's pushing this child through to be able to speak.
Yes, I did. A son.
So know that that soul is there with your dad, because sometimes souls will come together. And he's actually telling me about the birthday. So there was just a birthday that was celebrated, or would have been the birthday, correct?
My son's.
So know it's his way of acknowledging, Mom, please know that I know that you celebrate my birthday and think about me on my birthday. And that's your son's way of letting you know that he's in heaven, letting you know he does not want this to be a sad day. He's saying to me that the first thing that he wants to let you know is that he's sorry for everything that you had to see and everything that you had to go through with his passing. Because he's telling me when I'm connecting with him that there were all problems within his body when I'm speaking to him. At one point, did he have issues with medications?
No, just drugs, street drugs.
That's what I'm talking about. Drugs and medications are the same thing to me. Sorry, when I see it. He's showing me all pill bottles in front of me when I'm connecting. And when I see that, that's his way of showing me that this is one of the things that was bothering him here in this world. And when I asked him, well, what happened? He said to me when I'm connecting with him that he got hooked on pain meds. So do you know if he started with either oxycodone or pills like that? Because he's acknowledging this when I'm speaking to him.
He could have, yes.
Because I'm going to tell you something right now. When I'm connecting with him, he was showing me, Matt, I wasn't always this way. I wasn't always this way. And he said to me, Matt, if there's one thing my mom will tell you, my family will tell you, is that I was a hard worker. He shows me that he was a hard worker. He was always working. And your son was brilliant here in this world. Like literally when I'm connecting, he shows me that he worked with his hands here in the physical world. Yes. And that he could make things and construct things and build things. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how much you know, but I'm going to tell you everything. He keeps telling me of a work accident that had happened years ago. Do you know of a work accident where he had broken something? I don't know if it was a bone, if it was his leg or anything like that.
He did break his ankle that he had to have pins and rods put in.
That's what I'm talking about. He's telling me that's where this whole started, because souls will bring me back to day one. And he's showing me that he was prescribed pain medication. And he says to me, Matt, he goes, I had it one time. He goes, and then I don't know what happened. He says, but I got addicted to that. He says, and I kept trying different things, he tells me. And then next thing you know, he tells me that it literally started to ruin his whole life. He shows me that, like, this is what's so mind-blowing to me, is your loved ones will show me, right? Like, you're still wondering really how he had died and how this had all happened. Because you're saying this doesn't match up with my son. My son is a hard worker. My son is somebody who's honest. My son is somebody who would never do the things that I heard that he did.
Yes.
He said to me, Matt, he goes, I didn't even realize the signs. That's what he tells me. And I'm going to tell you something. He got involved with some hardcore things here in this world because he just showed me fentanyl in front of me. So when I see fentanyl, that means either that's how he had died or there was something that was laced with that. Do you understand that? He says to me, please let my mom know I am sorry. I am sorry. And the one thing that he's sorry about is this. He tells me that he tried to hide this from you. Your son tells me that's the reason why you weren't hearing from him. You weren't talking to him at the end. He says it had nothing to do with you. He keeps saying, I'm sorry. Please tell him sorry. He says, and Matt, he goes, I've been waiting so long to tell my mom this, because literally he shows me that there were times when you would go back through his passing and you would think about, was he mad at me? Was he upset with me? Why wasn't he talking to me? Because I see there were times when you would call him and he showed me voice messages on his phone that he wouldn't pick up or wouldn't get back to you. And when you did talk to him on the phone, he was short or he wouldn't speak to you. Your son says to me, you have one question that's been in your heart today. And your question is, why didn't you tell me? Your son says to me, I didn't want to disappoint you. I didn't want you to be nervous. What's so crazy about this is your son worked really hard to keep this a secret. I see him going and painting this perfect life of himself where literally like you didn't know half the things that were going on with him. He says, Matt, he says, I lost control of my life. He says, but I felt like I could bring it back. He says, I felt like I could pull everything together and that nobody would know. He goes, I had too much pride and I had too much pride to ask my mom for help. He says, and for that, I'm sorry. He says, but I loved you too much and I didn't want to hurt you. Do you understand that? Your son is with your father on the other side, and your father allowed him to come through to speak and reach you today. And I got to tell you something else. Your son wants you to remember the good times that you had with him and the times in which he was younger, because that's how he's coming through to me. He says, remember these times, remember these times. He says to me, Matt, he goes, please let my mom know that even though we were so distant here in this world at the end, he says that I loved her with my whole heart and soul. Your son actually wants to thank you for the way that you went to his place of living and the way that you went to go get his things, because he's acknowledging that. He says, and Matt, he goes, I remember talking to me and having the conversations with me. And that is something, he says, that I will never forget. He says, so please let her know one thing. He says, please let her know that I am okay. Please let her know that I am fine. And more importantly, my soul is always there and watching over her. Wait, there's one other thing. And your son keeps showing me him in heaven and he's eating peanut butter on the other side. Was he obsessed with what the frig is with the peanut butter? He's got this big thing of Skippy and he's like got his fingers, it's all disgusting. And I don't know I don't know what to say.
He's done that, yes.
What do you mean? Was that his like snack? He's looking at me and he's got this thing of Skip and he's eating peanut butter on the other side.
Yes, that's so much him.
He's freaking me out. Like it's all, like I'm all skeeved out when I'm talking to him because like listen, I'm OCD. I don't like anything on your hands, anything on your ass. I have enough time I haven't had enough time wiping my own ass. I have to use a bidet. All right. Never mind this other stuff. So know that it's his way of just acknowledging that. First of all, he wants you to think of him like that. He wants you to think of his funny times that he had here in this world, the way that he was, you know, before all of these things happened, and he's acknowledging them. You know, there's one other thing. I keep telling him to wrap it up, but he won't stop. Your son showed me a wedding ring and he's telling me I never meant to hurt her. He tells me about his wife being so upset and so mad because he had died. He said to me, Matt, he says, she really did love me. She really did love me. I shouldn't have, he goes, I should have changed, he says, for this and for her. So no, he wants to thank you for the way that you kept in touch with her and the way that, you know, you try to have a relationship there, because he's acknowledging that. And he says to me, I gotta tell you one thing, and I know it's hard to hear, but he does want you to know that she was telling you the truth, because you were questioning, did she know? Did she know what was going on? And he's telling me, she's saying she was telling you the truth. She's telling you the truth. So I don't know what those conversations were. I'm asking your son, but those were private. But I do know that what she did tell you, he's validating to me, is truth. And he wants you to know that. And I got to tell you, I'm so happy that I get to tell you that, because how many times there's sneaky things that go on and I don't get to deliver good messages like that. So I will tell you that, because he says to me, Matt, that's the only way that my mom's heart is going to be able to heal. Right. I really hope that this helped you today.
It did. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm going to leave you with that.